I love the beginning of a new year, the beginning of my birthday. Like my birthday is like a new year as well. Like I just like beginning things. So like whenever it's a beginning, like I could be like in the worst mental state ever. But then sometimes like at the beginning, I'm like, you know what? Who knows? Anything can happen. So I'm hoping this like attitude lasts a lot longer than just like the first couple of days. But you know, the beginning of the year is all for me, it's always so exciting. I like change. I know that's another thing I feel like a lot of people don't like. I love change. Like, let's change things up. I love excitement, new. So this year, I'm just like really, I'm saying this today. I'm really hopeful that like some things will change and get better. Welcome to Those Are the Girls with Mallory and Friends, the podcast where we explore life, career, relationships, and pop culture through a Christian conservative perspective. Each episode, we dive into deep topics that matter most to us women, from navigating your career with grace and confidence to watering meaningful relationships grounded in faith. We're here to empower you to embrace your femininity and stand firm in your beliefs. We'll also tackle the latest in pop culture, discussing how they align or clash with our values. Let's uncover the truth and encourage each other to live boldly and authentically. So whether you're at home or on your commute, get ready for some fabulous conversations. Grab your teacup, pour yourself some tea. Come on, girlies, we're changing culture. The views expressed on this podcast are our own and do not reflect our employers. Enjoy. Hello, everyone. You are listening to Those Are the Girls with Mallory and Friends. I am Mallory.
I'm Elise.
And this is Those Are the Girls in 2026. Welcome to the show. Woo! If you're new here, welcome. This is the first episode of 2026. If you're old here, subscribe. I'm supposed to tell you to subscribe and like follow, comment, all that stuff at the beginning of the episode. So I'm going to try to be better at that. But if you're new here, welcome. I think you should probably go ahead and subscribe anyway because you're going to love it. But yeah, this is a podcast where we're talking about life. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. We do talk about that, but life, career, pop culture, relationships, all those things from the Christian perspective. And we have a lot to go over today. We're actually recording on New Year's Day. And by the time you guys hear this, it'll actually be a little bit over a week because New Year's was on a Thursday this year, which is so like random, which means New Year's Eve was on a Wednesday. I mean, I guess it's not random, but like it happens every 4 or 7 years or something like that.
I don't know. I'm the worst with telling you when holidays are going to happen. I have absolutely no idea.
Well, I noticed as a child, so it was on a Wednesday this year, so that means next year it's going to be on a Thursday. I don't know if you picked up on that.
You know, something like that.
Yeah. But holidays like Easter does not do that because Easter is based on, I believe, like the moon or something like that. But Easter, so if it's like Easter is calendar. Yeah, it's a completely different calendar. So Easter can be March or April, depending on the year. So that's just, that's just calendar facts with Mal. But yeah, so welcome. I'm super excited for this year. A lot of really cool things I have planned. A lot of cool new podcasts for the Other Girls Media Network. Just a lot of really cool things. And before we get into our stories, actually, yeah, let's first, Elise, how you doing?
I'm doing good. There's a lot. I feel like there's a lot going on in my life right now. Like a lot of new things and changes. Yeah. And like it's probably the most like transitional new year that I've ever had.
Me too, actually. I feel that way as well.
Yeah. And like, I mean, last year I had just broken up with my ex. So it was like, that was pretty transitional also. But this year it's like new job and I'm starting online school and, like, so it's very, very like, new things, lots going on, but all good things and exciting things. So that's nice.
Yeah. I feel that. I feel like I said that. Maybe it's not transitional for me. Maybe it's more busy. I said, yeah, me too, but like nothing. I mean, I hope to God things change this year, but right as of this moment we're recording, nothing has changed. So maybe it's not transitional, but I feel like I'm like busy and like I have a lot of things that can happen, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
So maybe it's transitional, like, in your mindset and, like, your approach to this year. There's, like,
Maybe.
a pivotal thing. I feel like I'm seeing, like, a powerful Mal that's coming out, and
Yeah.
she's gonna conquer 2026, 'cause there was a
Yeah.
moment where Mal was not feeling as optimistic about 2026,
No, that's
or
correct.
honestly, the rest of the decade. So
That's correct. That's correct. So I am hoping that it's so funny. Like I am such like I love new beginnings. I really do.
Mhm.
I used to love Mondays more for, unspoken reasons. I don't love them as much as I did, but I used to love Mondays. I love the beginning of a new year, the beginning of my birthday. Like my birthday is like a new year as well. Like I just like beginning things. So like
Mhm.
whenever it's a beginning, like I could be like in the worst mental state ever. But then sometimes like at the beginning, I'm like, you know what? Who knows? Anything can happen. So I'm hoping this like attitude lasts a lot longer than just like the first couple of days. But the beginning of the year is all for me. It's always so exciting. I like change. I know that's another thing I feel like a lot of people don't like. I love change. Like let's change things up. I love excitement, new. So this year I'm just like really. I'm saying this today. I'm really hopeful that like some things will change and get better. Not just for obviously for me. Like I'm not gonna be one of those people like and for you only. No, for me as well as others.
Yeah.
Like I want other people to have a great year as well.
And share the love.
Yeah. Well, some people are like, even if it's literally the worst thing that happens to me, I just want it great for you. Like, no, I want it good for me as well. Like I want good for me as well as good for you. Um,
It's not an either or situation.
yeah,
We can do
yeah.
both.
Yeah, yeah. No, that's literally how I feel like we both can actually enjoy life. That's quite possible. But anyways, yeah, that's your catching up segment. I do want to say a couple things really quick. So what I have been thinking about, like switching up for the podcast, I think like every year now I'm gonna have like a theme. And what I've really been feeling like is the theme specifically because, for those that don't know, we've rebranded. I've kind of transitioned to some of the conversations that we're having. What it's not that like my opinions and thoughts have changed necessarily like on core issues, but I do think that like the topic of the conversation has changed, but inside the topic, my thoughts and opinions are still similar. And I've actually been seeing that with a lot of other conservative like podcasts or even just conservative content creators as well. They're not necessarily it's just I'm sorry, it's just a different time than 2020. So yeah. Anyway, so I want to tell you the three like pillars. So all the episodes this year specifically are going to be somehow kind of related, discussing calling, community, and cultivating biblical womanhood slash femininity. So the idea
Ooh.
is really that like we are in our callings, and I really want to be the podcast that you go to if you are single and you are kind of like, you know what, this is the season I'm in. I don't necessarily want to hear about how motherhood is the only thing that you can be good at, the only thing you're worth, only thing that you can be good at, and how if you have a career, you are failing at life. Some people, and the fact of the matter is there's so many podcasts, conservative Christians that say that. So I want to be the podcast that's the opposite. Like this is your calling. At the end of the day, like you're supposed to do what God has called you to do. Maybe God has not called you to be a mom or a wife ever or right now, so you need to make
Mm.
sure that you are thriving and honoring him and bringing him glory in every season of your life. And I'm sorry, there just aren't a lot of podcasts that talk about that. So I really want to be the go-to for that. So I am going to have some more like career focus episodes and some more talking about callings and, not just like with your working in an office, but sometimes people are called to work from home jobs. You're called to, and then maybe even different professions. That is one of the goals for this year. And then the next thing is community. I really want to do some more community things. I am planning a tea party in March. Hopefully, I'll get all that stuff solidified sooner rather than later. And I am looking for sponsors to help with that. But I do really want to do the tea party this year. Another tea party. The first tea party we did, like for the books, like that was such a fun experience. And I just think that community right now is so important. I think especially when we get to the ins and outs of the year,
Yeah.
talking about like some of the things that are out, I really think that community and like being together in person is going to be so much more important like going forward in life in general. I've really been feeling that. Like, and what's so crazy, I have made such great friends on Instagram. I'm thinking of two, like as I said, I'm thinking of two women who I I hope we see each other one day and like can actually like give each other hugs. But I'm just thinking of them who have been so kind, sweet, supportive, and like we have good conversations. You know, these things online are great. Like I hope that people can find community and like can find like feel as if you are not alone. Like that was the whole overarching goal of the podcast from the very, very beginning, was to have hot takes or just takes in general. Sometimes the takes aren't even hot, they just feel hot in the culture. Sometimes they're not hot, they're just takes. And but in our culture they're hot. So the goal was really to have that, and so you don't feel alone. And like that is the overarching goal. It's still the goal today. And I really want that to happen. I also really want some in-person things, because there is nothing that beats that in-person, like spending time together and like I don't know, just something about that. And then obviously everyone loves dressing up. Even the most tomboyish girl will feel pretty going on dress. So that's that. And then the last thing, cultivating biblical womanhood and femininity. That kind of goes back to the other thing that I was saying earlier. And I was talking to actually one of my really good friends about this. I was saying how I really like in this, I don't want to say season. I'm now starting to hate when people go, I'm in my single season. Actually, that could be the rest of your life. You really don't know. You are single. That's all you are. So in my singleness, I really do want to make sure that I'm honoring God and glorifying Him. And I want to make sure that I am living like a biblical womanhood. And like, that is what we're going to be doing, cultivating that. So like, I want to read books and I want to have guests on and talk about how to do that. And just like, not just like cultivating womanhood, but like actually like day to day, like how does that look? How do you live like that?
Mm-hmm.
So that is the overarching 2026 themes of the podcast. If you have guest ideas for you yourself, or if you know someone that will be a good guest, please reach out, let me know. And yeah, if you have thoughts on episodes or topics that we should be discussing, let me know as well. Which also leads to the last thing, and then we're going to get into the stories. The last thing is we're doing a Proverbs challenge. Today is day one of we're reading Proverbs 1. So every single day, there's 31 days in January and there's 31 chapters in Proverbs. So to kind of start off the year like sober minded, a lot of people are doing sober January as well. To start off the year in that, that's what we're going to be doing as like those other girls community. So if you do that, let me know, like tag us or don't tag us. Like you don't have to share it with anyone if you're doing it. So at the end of the day, it's not really for us. I mean, it would be nice to know that like someone's doing it, but at the end of the day, it's not for us. It's for you and God. It's like for you to get a better understanding of God and to grow in wisdom. And then lastly, we are reading Eve in Exile. Tons of people recommended this book to me. I've already had mixed reviews from people who've read it, but I really want to read it, and I'm trying to go in like open minded. Some people recommended it for me when I asked in a Facebook group, like, what is a good book for cultivating biblical femininity? Those were like my exact words. And they said this book. So hopefully I pray to God that it is a good book for me. Like I said, I have had mixed reviews, but we'll see. And then, so we're going to do an oops spoilers on that, but also kind of like talk about that probably throughout the month, because I'm going to be reading throughout the month, taking notes and things like that. And maybe like mention things here and there, because I do, like I said, like the whole that's one of the purposes of this year is to cultivate biblical femininity. And ideally this book will help that with that. If you have any other suggestions of books or things that we can do, let me know. But yeah, I'm trying to think, do you want to announce or say anything?
I don't think so. Just I'm excited for the new year and for everything that's going on with those other girls media network. And I feel like the year is what you make it, and so taking advantage of opportunities like community, like the community read-alongs and that kind of thing, is really like that's the first step towards a lot of the goals that we're setting for ourselves this new year, that I feel like most people are setting for themselves. Like, take advantage, get involved. Let's leave passivity in 2025. No more of that.
That's good. Oh, I needed like one or two more outs. I'm going to add passivity to one of my outs. And then to add to that something, then we really need to get into the stories. But Sorry, I'm like trying to type out passivity.
It's a hard word to type. I hate,
There we go. To add to that, when you said it is what you make it, like sometimes when people say stuff like that, my initial reaction is like almost like a recoil, because sometimes things do happen in your life that you literally are out of your control. But what I've learned this past year specifically, I've talked about this in other episodes, is like your Job moment. Do you just say blessed be the name of the Lord and keep going, or do you go curse God and die type of thing? So what is your bounce back? Like things are coming at you and like, yeah, it really sucks. Like one day I'll share everything that's gone on in my life, but like some things like really suck. Like there's a lot of disappointment, but do you bounce back or do you kind of just like recoil? And I will say for me in 2025, that is something that I really learned, and I feel like I've gotten a lot better with than in previous years. So yeah, so that's part of that. Okay. Are you ready? Oh, I don't have my cup.
No, find it. Find the cup.
No, it's all the way on the other side of the room, but
Okay.
I will thumbs up to you. Okay. Are you ready to get into the stories?
Yes, let's go.
Oh, we can still clink.
Clink.
Okay. So first thing I want to talk about in like pop culture girly fashion is what are our ins and our outs of the year. So I kind of want to talk about outs first.
Ooh, okay.
I know, I kind of want to get a little controversial.
Switch it up.
Elise, okay, so how many did you have?
Low-key 3. So
Love
but
that.
a lot of what?
No, I love that. 3.
But I was kind of looking at your list, and I feel like we're gonna have a lot of the same ones. So, like,
Good.
whoever of us you want to start out, I feel like we're
You
gonna
go first.
be aligned. Okay. My outs are spiraling, wasting time, like indecision, like just standing, those moments where I just like stand still and I'm like, do I do this or do I do this? Like no more of that. We're done. And doom scrolling I saw was on your list. So like that goes into that category. Like no more, just like it's been 3 hours and I've just been like watching TikToks or whatever. Also on my outs is gold jewelry. Unfortunately.
Wow, a lot of people have said that.
Yeah, well, I resisted for a long time because I like the idea of gold jewelry, and I obviously love like the Shop the Pink Rose pieces, and most of them are gold. So, I was really locked into that for like a long time and I loved it, but I think I figured out like actually looking, that's another thing that's in, I guess, for me is like dressing for my body, and so with that, gold jewelry doesn't flatter my skin tone, and so I'm transitioning to silver jewelry, so gold jewelry is out. But then my last out is obligation activities.
Ooh.
New year, my new year is just gonna be so full of like I and this gets into my end, so I won't go, we can't get into that yet, but like I don't have time. I don't have time to do things that aren't like a priority for me, that aren't fulfilling something that I feel like God is asking me to do,
That's good, Elise.
Thank you. The time that I spend with people has to be like intentional. And so, yeah, a lot of my ins and outs are like very connected, but yeah, I can't say yes to things that are just like, I don't have anything on the calendar. So like, I'll go to that, it has to be something that fits my goals.
I love that. And to add to that, that is something that I don't have that on my ins and outs, but I want to like expand on that a little bit more. I will say the last year-ish, maybe 2 years, I've really kind of like gotten better at that. As if you follow me on Instagram, I can become friends with The Rock. So I have lots of friends, and through that, when I tell, like, I am booked and busy. If you follow me on my Instagram, like every weekend I am doing something. What I have had to learn to do is make like a list of like my top goals in life. If this activity does not help that goal, then I can't do it. One of the things, for example, like concerts, I love concerts. Even if it's someone who I'm not really a fan of, if it's good vibes, in the past, I would go. Now, because I am trying to save money for certain things, disrupts my goals. Because also too with the concert, I'm not going to be able to eat well that day because of X, Y, and Z. So like it's just a bunch of things. Like it disrupts my goals. So I will not spend the money or the time and the energy to go to a concert that I don't care about. I was actually invited last year to 3 concerts. There were 3 concerts specifically I'm thinking of right now that I really did want to go to for the vibes, but couldn't care less about the artists.
Mhm.
Well, one I actually really
Yeah.
did like, but financially couldn't make it happen. It did not fit these goals, so it's kind of just like a no. And I think that another one of my friends told me, she was like, actually 2 of my friends, and I think this all the time. I actually recently told her, I was like, you told me this a couple years ago, and like I have not forgotten it. They told me I'm good at boundaries, and at first I was like, good at boundaries? I don't know about that, but I, from that perspective of like, nope, I'm not doing this. This is what I plan to do. I feel like I have gotten, from that perspective, I am good at boundaries like that. And that's a skill you have to learn and like work on. Like, oh, I really do want to do this. I want to support my friend because that's also something different. A couple weeks ago, my friend had a clarinet concert. I really needed to go to bed, but I hadn't seen any of her concerts. I did have that evening off. Okay, so I sacrificed for that friend to go to that concert. And like just knowing things like that. But like if it was like, I want you to come with me to trivia night. No, I'm not. I can't sacrifice for that. Something like that's important to her. She is in a concert. I'm going to go to that. So it's just like making priorities and seeing like what are these things that align with my goals and do they fit? I love those. I love those, Elise. All of those get out. They're out.
No more.
No more. So, out for me, I have the doom scrolling as well. I said this before, like my TikTok is, people are like, oh, TikTok makes me sad. Not me, girly. TikTok has me laughing. I have found the algorithm that gets me laughing. Now, occasionally I might, teeter totter over to like the side of TikTok where everybody, is single and they're so sad about it and they have to share or express it all day, every day. But then as soon as I'm like, oh, no, I'm over here. I'm supposed to be laughing. I'm supposed to get jokes. I'm supposed to get like clips from TV shows that I'll probably never watch. Like that's what I'm supposed to be. But that is just as bad as like comparison and feeling sad and things like that too. Always, always needing to be entertained. Oh, I should have put that on there too. Always needing to be entertained is I think a negative. Always needing to. Now, sometimes being entertained is fine. I'm a huge consumer of entertainment. I think entertainment is good. I think like art and creativity is very important, but always needing that is a negative. So that's out. Neutral colors. I think that like that boring beige aesthetic, like that's out. Like everybody stop. Just wear regular colors. Like don't, that's out. Like we're not doing that anymore. Sweats at airports. I know people hate that, but that's out. I really like I understand like it's comfortable, but I feel like there has to be other clothes that are comfortable for you. And I do think like when you dress up at the airport, I always just want to go to the airport. When you dress up at the airport, makes going to the air like it makes the beginning of your vacation fun. It makes it like it adds a whole nother layer to it. It's exciting and just it becomes an affair. It's not just like you getting on a plane, it's you getting on a plane as opposed to like, yeah, I'm getting on a plane. So I out. Let's not wear so, and I'm not saying put on heels and wear a ball gown because that's don't bean soup this everyone. I'm not saying that. I'm saying, put a little bit of effort in. That's just my thoughts. The no new friends thing. I saw this TikTok. Here I go back from TikTok. I saw this TikTok that was so good. It was like this year, you know how people go like, I don't want to be perceived. The TikTok was something like, I want to be perceived. I want to make new friends. I want to end the year with like deeper relationships that are not. And I'm like, yes, like what happened to like that? Why is everybody so, no, I can't have any more friends. Now I understand like not like I can admit I don't have a lot of time for like people who are like close friends, but I have time for more friends. Like why not? Unless you want to, if you really want to become a close friend, you can like pay for my life, like pay me. I will do that. I have to work, so I don't have the time, but if you want to pay what I would get at work, that's like I'm not stopping you. And then Botox, lip injections. I really think like we have moved past that. I hate talking about appearance, but I do want to say like in the Stranger Things with Millie, who is just like 19 years old. I mean, the lips injection, it was distracting. It was incredibly obvious and it was distracting. And like, she's a child. There's no reason for that. And I think that that's out. Like, I don't think any of us should be doing that. And I do think that people are kind of seeing things like that and like kind of are moving away from things like that. Okay, sorry. I will actually post a lot of these. Maybe I'll just stop here. I actually have a couple more. I'll post them on the Instagram so you will be able to see them. Actually, I'm just going to say I'm not doing any explanations. I'm just going to say the rest and not doing any explanations. Okay, over explaining, not doing something because you're scared to do it alone, situationships, staying up late, and passivity. Those are my outs. Okay.
Beautiful.
Elise, you want to do your ends?
I do. Okay, so again, you inspired me in a little bit of this,
Ooh.
but my ends are like perfume, elegance, dressing like for your body type.
Love.
Like just that of like, okay, and I think everyone has their own personal style, like what they're comfortable in. Like you might not necessarily be cool with like dresses, or you might not necessarily be cool with, like bright colors. That might not be for you. But like figure out what is for you, what is like flattering to you and makes you feel like feminine and like put together, and like lean into that a little bit. So I'm, like I invested in some like high quality fragrances that aren't full of like, hormones and toxins and nasty things. I'm investing in like jewelry that's quality and suitable for like my coloring. And then I'm like not being scared to wear things that actually are like good for my body, like fit me well, are good for my body, are like flattering to my like shape, just because, they like draw attention to myself. Because as long as you're not like being prideful or being like sinful in pursuit of attention, it's not a bad thing that like your clothes fit you and look good on you. That's not, that's not vanity unless you make it vanity.
Being
It's
frumpy.
okay.
Yeah, being frumpy is not a fruit of the spirit.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm like leaning into that, enjoying being like a lady. I've also been doing a lot of like zookeeping work this year, which is like phenomenal and great, and I love it, but it's not very like not very like put together, elegant, refined, wear jewelry, wear fragrance.
You can wear a bow in your hair though. I don't think
like,
bows
why?
are you. Yeah, I know. Just to add a little bit of
setting.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's and then it's like some of that is like a safety thing. Like if you are wearing jewelry that's like something could grab onto or it could get stuck on, like that could be actually like hazardous,
Fair. Yeah. Okay. I was just throwing
so I'm enjoying like transitioning into like a new season that's got a lot of like scary and big things that are going to require a lot of growth for me, but also open up opportunities to where it's like, okay, now I can wear like nice jewelry and I can wear perfume and it's like appropriate for this setting. And so it's like just kind of a new avenue of myself that I'm excited to like explore. My second in is budgeting. Budgeting money, but also time. Like previous, my budget has been don't spend money on anything unless you really, really want to, and then you have money to spend on it because you haven't, like, you're not out there spending money every day. And that worked for a while, but as I'm investing in things now, there's no longer room for error or miscalculation. Like I have to have things written down now, and as well as my time, because I'm working full time. I'm gonna start doing school part time, and I also want to like pour into myself spiritually and have like a social, like have some community that I'm putting in place. So I have to like know, okay, this is how much time I have to spend on fun things, on social things, and like these are the hours that need to be set apart for work and school, and like getting enough rest every night, like because those things are important. And so I need to know that I have those hours set aside and not be like, I don't have time to do anything. No, girl, you do. Like calculate how many hours are in a week. It'll be mind-blowing for you. Like, oh my gosh, what am I doing with all those hours? So budgeting. And then intentional fellowship.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, like something I've really been wanting to do this year is like like themed dinner, like dinner parties, or like themed get-togethers. Like, yeah, I know I
You're
saw it on your side. I was like, oh,
speaking my language.
that's so crazy. Like, hey, let's get together and like not just get together to hang out, which is fine. Like, I love doing that, but I'm really like, I really want to do things where it's like, hey, I saw this like craft on like Pinterest and I want to get together and have like a girls' night, you know,
Yes.
or I saw this new movie or this new TV show that I thought you would really like come over and let's have like a themed movie night, or you know,
Yeah.
and just doing stuff that's like fills my soul in the specific need that I have at that specific time, you know, which is gonna be like, I'm gonna need a lot of refreshment this year because I know I'm gonna be doing a lot of outpouring like at my job and at school, you know, so like doing those fun things that like make me feel connected and rooted and like able to soak in all of the like energy and love, you know, that I need is gonna be like, that's a priority for sure.
Yeah. And we as humans need that. I think that, back to the no new friends or no friends thing, like I keep my circle small. We need that. And like you can keep your inner circle small. No one said you can't. But like the reality is like it's okay to like make other friends. It's okay to like branch out and have like a big friend group. You don't have to be best friends with everybody in the group, but like at least have people to be around and like community and everything. I love that. I am, and we have our murder mystery party in February. Hope it's on your calendar.
Actually, it should be. We'll talk about that later.
We can talk about that offline. No offense, don't need strangers showing up. Still want community, but let's get to know you first.
Yeah. Yeah, listen to the podcast, follow the Instagram, give us 5 stars and we'll talk.
Yeah. Love those. Did you have any more?
No, those were my 3 main core ones, but there's a lot of stuff that kind of goes, goes into that.
So I'm going to just try to say mine and not talk too much about them because we are already at 32 minutes. But, everyone, I'll also post these. Physical media is out. Okay, I do have to say this. So, okay, a lot of TV shows and movies, I'll say, for example, every year, Christmas, my family watches the Doctor Who episode with Peter Capaldi. That's a Christmas episode with Clara, okay? It's like a Christmas classic. Right now, other than Disney Plus, which only has the new latest Doctor on there is no place else to watch Doctor Who. No other, not network, no other streaming service platform.
Yeah.
So, you would have to get physical media. All's that to say, like, if you do enjoy entertainment in media and you find like movies and TV shows very refreshing for the soul and very important, now is the time to go ahead and start doing that. I also saw this tweet that I think I'm going to start buying like one a month. The Dear America series is out of print, everyone. Dear America series is out of print. So that means all of the books out there of Dear America, that's it. Unless, they might go back into print. When I saw that tweet a couple days ago, they're out of print. Things like that. It's like, wow, Dear America, that was did you read Dear America?
No.
Okay, well, you don't understand.
But I've heard you talk about
it. You don't understand how important this is. Dear America, it was like the journals of like it was fiction, of journals of like girls throughout America during different times. Such good reads. Oh, such good reads. Anyway, flip phones, digital cameras, reading more. I think this year we should be reading more, not just like self-help. I know a lot of people like reading self-help, but like also some fiction, nonfiction. And then those who don't read self-help, maybe a self-help book, Christian books, historical Christianity. We'll talk more on that. Mixed jewelry. A lot of people are saying silver, and I'll say it here. The Pink Rose will have silver jewelry by February, March-ish. The Pink Rose will be offering some silver pieces. Silver, technically, well, my Elizabeth, who did my color analysis, said I could do both, but silver is better. I like gold. So I need to wear more silver. Also, just side note, I definitely like looking at what you're wearing. Now you look fantastic. It really brings out everything, and those are cool colors. So you're definitely like a cool color. So silver is better.
Yeah.
Not to like color and analyze you right now, but anyway, mixed jewelry. I am loving. I should have worn them today. I have this pair of like earrings that are like gold and silver that actually are offered at Shop the Pink Rose. But right now, I'm ahead of my time. Right now, those are not a bestseller, but they're so cute. And they're like silver and gold. And I do think this year it's going to be more of that. I think there's going to be more of that. Hobbies. I think we all need a hobby. That is something that I noticed. I have hobbies. I'm the girly with too many hobbies. There's like a Instagram page that like talks about that, like the girl who like likes too much. Yeah, that's me. And I think not everybody should do that because it can be overwhelming. I was actually talking to my mom like the other day. I was just kind of like, sometimes it feels like I like to do everything and I have all these dreams and ideas and it's just like overwhelming. So I don't necessarily think that should be everybody's goal, but I do have friends that like don't have a hobby that should at least have one hobby. Hobbies are in dinner parties. At least kind of covered that. Cute Bibles. I've been seeing a lot of people doing like fun things with their Bibles, and I think that's in. I think that's in.
Yeah.
And making sure you're opening them too. Like I just with an asterisk, also opening. And then perfume, Elise kind of explained how I feel about perfuming and journaling. I have a junk journal now and I'm kind of like really into it. So I think we all should be journaling this year. Okay.
What is a junk journal?
So great question. It's like a regular journal, but then you like glue, like for example, I'm going to cut. So you saw the headband thing I was wearing last night?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to cut the 2026 and glue it inside the journal and then like write my thoughts on like last night and like you do add stuff like that. You might see people like, they go to a restaurant and it's a really fun time and they might like tear off a piece of like the paper from the menu or something like that and then put it in their journal. It's just kind of essentially like adding junk to your journal.
Yeah, like mementos. Okay.
Yes, yeah. Sometimes I put pictures in mine from times I've done stuff and everything. But we've got to move on. That was 37 minutes. Whatever. Happy New Year, everybody. Okay, so I want to talk about, honestly, I'm thinking of homelessness and then Shay's, the face thing, and then the other stuff is kind of like evergreen. Okay, so I'm going to pull up a tweet and then I'm going to read some of it. But first, I'm going to give you guys some context. I don't know if you guys remember Ned's Declassified. Elise, did you watch Ned's Declassified? Okay, so it was a show on I almost said TikTok. Wow, it was a show on Nickelodeon where this guy named Ned and his two friends, Cookie and Mose, were in middle school, and they would do like a lesson, like how to survive middle school type stuff. And I remember it was so good. It was nice, clean show, great show, and they had like recurring characters, and it was a good show. I think it lasted like 6th, 7th, and 8th grade type of thing. Well, one of the actors on the show that was kind of he was not a main character. It was a recurring character. And I'm sure he's done stuff since then, but they always refer to him as the classified kid. Someone found him on the streets of, I believe it's LA, homeless. It's actually really, 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 really sad. And, they took videos of him. And then, side context, the three people who played Ned, Mose, and Cookie are the most fame thirsty celebrities I think I have ever seen in my life. They will do anything for a buck. They had a podcast and were like, it's a mess. And one of the guys from the show, he went out to go check on, the guy's name is Tyler, to go check on Tyler. And he filmed the whole thing, which you guys know how I feel about that. I really think I understand from the perspective of especially if you're going to be like donate, like prove, but there has to be a way where like afterwards, when the person's not there, when the person's not at their lowest, you can discuss it without I can't stand that. I actually hate when people film homeless people, especially when they film them. I hate it. Anyway, so long story short, the guy who plays Cookie went to check on the guy, Tyler. And when he went to check on Tyler, he ended up getting him a hotel room. Well, here is the news about that. And this tweet was tweeted on Christmas, and today is New Year's. So as of New Year's, Tyler no longer is at the hotel, but this is what happened on Christmas. So it says, Tyler Chase trashed his hotel room and threw the microwave in the bathtub, according to Daniel Lee Curtis, who starred with Chase and Ned's Declassified on Nickelodeon. Lee, who got the room for Chase, says he got a call from the hotel I received a call from management. They're upset. The door is left open. Why is there a microwave in the tub? The refrigerator is turned over. I just feel so devastated. I am at a loss. And I think that this is an awful situation, but also brings into question some of like, how do we handle situations? How do we handle homelessness? How do we handle people who cannot take care of themselves? And, you know, in Charlotte here, we had the issue with Irina, who was stabbed by a deranged, evil, awful person. And I don't believe he was homeless, but he had mental health issues and he was struggling taking care of himself. My question and what I would like us to discuss is essentially like, how do we handle these type of situations? Like, what is the right Christian response as well as the governmental response to something like this? But I want to read this tweet and I'm going to try really hard to like read it quickly and not be like annoyingly long about it. But read this tweet. I thought this guy, he perfectly summarized the issue and then we can discuss that. Okay, so this person, his name is actually, okay, I just know him, I want to say this, I just know him from this tweet. Sometimes like I'll be like, yeah, look at this person, and then I'll read him like, it'll say something like, you know, just some crazy stuff. I'm not condoning anything other than this tweet. I just want to clarify that real quick. I mean, his bio just says, I hate the Antichrist. So that's good. I do too, but I don't know. Anyway, I'll link it if you want to see the tweet. Okay, so he goes, there are three non-mutually exclusive classes of homeless people: the mentally ill, the drug addicted, and those without any support system that are forced onto the streets. I feel like we can never have a real discussion on what should be done because liberals want to give them endless free stuff. Okay, so I am interchanging some words. It might not be exactly quoted. And so he doesn't say free stuff. Let's just say that. And he doesn't say liberals. He uses another word. Okay. Anyway, I feel like we can never have a real discussion on what should be done because liberals want to give them free stuff and Republicans are in a base competition as to who can say the cruelest possible about homeless people. A lot of homeless don't want help and will actively resist help while making promises they never intended to keep about kicking the insanely addictive drugs they are addicted to. They need to be forced off the streets into government custody. Those with drug addictions need to be forced off drugs and through a thorough, likely year-long rehab. Those with mental illnesses need to be in special care facilities, and those who fell through the cracks can have charity and grace as they get back onto their feet and are assisted in finding jobs and getting their documentation they likely don't have. We boondoggled so much money on these half measures or liberal ideas of decriminalizing drugs or whatever, building homeless communes. I really feel like we could solve this issue in a humane way if we just understood that people with nothing living on the streets is unacceptable, especially if they are mentally ill and or drugs. The solution isn't saying F them, they should die, or build them all houses for free and give them clean needles. The homeless that can be taken off the streets and reintroduced to society should be, and those that aren't able to be saved need to be in government custody, where they can't threaten the population and ruin civil society for the rest of us. It's kind of a useless point to make, though, as it seems no one is serious about dealing with it. Similar systems like foster care have deteriorized into abuse factories. Okay, so now he's going on another rant, but like I'll link the tweet if you're interested. So I found that very interesting, and I do think that he is correct about the three mutually exclusive, non-mutually exclusive classes of homeless people. From what I've seen, from what I've read, that does seem to be the case. And I think he's right that like it does seem like everybody's just so on the further side about how to handle it and not handling, like I feel like they're trying to do a catch-all. Like all of them need this, as opposed to, okay, each individual situation is individualized. Here is how we take care of it. That is what it appears to be from the outside looking in, because let me tell you, it's not, whatever they're doing isn't working. So anyway, Elise, what are your thoughts?
I mean, it is like, I appreciate the part where he's saying it's it's really hard to figure out a way to like actually execute this. It's really easy to have this like idea of like, okay, here's what we need to do.
Right.
You know, like people in this group go here, people in this group go here, people in this group go here. You know,
That's
like
that.
but
No one's
in
homeless.
practice,
Yeah.
right. In practice, it's like, okay, we still need funding. And then his points at the end is super valid. Like, anytime you make it a government program, like, it will inevitably deteriorate. Like, it just like it becomes like pushing another person on the conveyor belt, like through, you know, like the public school system has become, like foster care has become. We have these like predetermined like checklists of like things we need to like hand them, and like okay, they have that, like they're good to go, you know, and if we don't do it in a certain time frame or whatever, then it's like, okay, we're just gonna pretend like we helped them, or say, you know, say that they have whatever, an education or the capability to like create a sustainable life for themselves even when they really don't. So like I think he's right. It's like we have to stop the thing that we're doing right now where we're just like homeless people exist,
Right.
you know, and like we're just gonna that's just fine, you know, like that's normal, because it's like that is so odd. Like that is such a weird thing to like just have people who don't have a place to live,
Right.
you know? So I mean, it is really tough, but I think I appreciate him bringing up the point of like, just because you hand somebody the money or you hand them a place to live doesn't mean that they're actually like, that's actually what they want, you know?
Or that they know how to even handle it. Like that they
Right, exactly. Like this guy like sounds like he was trying to do a really nice thing for his friend, you know, like give him a place to stay, and he trashed it and left, is like the summarized version of
Yeah.
that. Like he didn't want to be there, you know? And so it's like, as far as like forcing people off the streets, that like I think that might be a tough love situation where it's
Mhm.
like, this is what you need, even if you don't know that you need it, you're not capable of recognizing that like drugs are bad for you, and like not having consistent shelter is bad, like bad for your nervous system, bad for your mental health, like bad for your physical health, you know, like we're going to do what it takes to get you healthy again. So like that you'd have to be prepared for that to go south. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Or like if people don't want to be in rehab,
Oh
like
well, you need to be
you're
there.
gonna like
Yeah.
you're going to have to forcibly put them there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And like so you're gonna get more videos of people being, you know, like people being apprehended and like put somewhere that they don't necessarily want to be, even if it's for their benefit. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So it's just like, I think that would be a difficult thing to get people to sign on to, because like kind of the like liberal mentality that he mentions is like people have the right to choose to destroy their lives, and like we will just enable them to continue doing that, you know,
Yeah.
like with like, and it's so hard because it's like, yeah, there's neither of these responses is the correct thing.
Yeah.
So I mean, ultimately the answer is like the church becoming revitalized, and like,
Stepping up.
okay, we have to be the change. There are people out here that are suffering, and the government will screw this up if we try to hand this to them and be like, you fix this. You know what I'm saying? What I was kind of thinking is like, we really need like qualified people, like not necessarily just like Christian do-gooders who are like, I want to help them, and so like I'll just, you know, whatever, like give them something they don't know how to handle without actually like walking them through the steps of like learning how to use skills and, you know, like getting your documentation and that kind of thing. What we really need is like almost like a hospital like residency program where doctors have to spend a certain amount of time, you know, like practicing, like almost like donating their time, like practicing how to be a doctor. Like we should
I think
have
they have
like
something like that, kind of, but not exactly
we
that.
should have, yeah, like almost a system where it's like before you can get into your like career where you are like making money, you need to like there needs to be like a year of
Yeah.
service where like trained psychologists or like Christian
Like
counselors or,
serving your
you
community.
know,
Yeah.
like
I like that.
social workers, yeah, are like, you are like, we're gonna provide for your needs, we're gonna make sure you're taken care of, but your focus during this time is like you are an intern,
Yeah.
basically. Like you're learning what your career is gonna be, and you are making a system that works because it's like you're pouring into it. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Like we got to figure out how to do that.
Everything you said, I loved and agreed with. I want to expand on one concept that you said that I've been thinking about a lot when someone recently told me, like, yeah, my politics is just like, let everybody do whatever they want to do. Like, it's a free country, something like that. The reality is that, yes, it's a free country, but like, we live in a society and there are other people people are affected by the decisions that you make. For example, like, for, you know, we'll talk about Tyler for example. It's awful that he's in the situation. It's awful that he does not want to make himself better. Part of the reason why he needs to get better is, if he is shooting himself up and there's needles on the ground, then that does affect other people. He is acting irrationally and he hurts someone. Sorry, people's behavior does affect other people. So this idea that like just let everybody do whatever they want as long as they don't affect people, well, like your behavior does affect other people. And I think that's a nice and like a sweet and a utopian type of society where sin doesn't exist. And I used to think like that too years ago when I was young and, you know, rose colored glasses. But like the reality is like sometimes you like his actions do affect society. The more you go down these drugs, like you become violent. That will affect society. That will affect other people. So like, it's not just like a say lovey, like, okay, do whatever you want type of thing. It affects people. So I think that's another aspect that people have to think of. And like, I think this goes back to, what I say all the time about like, there's a standard. There is this thing that, that is the truth, that is the standard. And once you deviate from that standard, or like your goal should be to meet that standard. And I know people don't like that either. Like, why conform? No one's actually to conform. It's just this is the standard, and your goal should be as close to the standard as possible. And when we start going as far, and an example of that would be like, intentionally being homeless because of drugs and things like that. That is where it starts to affect yourself, others, society. It's a spiral. Like you as a citizen of the US, as a citizen of the world, as a community member, affect other people. I also, last thing I want to say on this too, is the other aspect of the mentally ill, or last thing, AB, is the other aspect of the mentally ill. I think that he is so right. The mentally ill should be separated from, like, you are also right about it. You can't just separate them and go, all right, we solved it. There has to be some sort of training. There has to be some sort of like individual. I truly think if we could figure out to do individual support, which here's the other aspect. Cause I did ask my dad once, I was like, why don't we have like insane asylums anymore? And he said, because the people there were treating people terribly, which to me is like, okay, get rid of those people and get in people who don't. But you do have to have a special heart to treat people who are mentally ill and like have issues. So like and sometimes it does attract certain types of people. So like I understand there is nuance to it. It's not, we live in a fallen world, it's not going to be perfect, but I do think it's something that we should strive toward. And then lastly, the people that just need a little bit of help. I think that a lot of times those people fall through the crack, like they fall through the cracks at the beginning, and then they fall through the cracks even more because everybody's thinking about the mentally ill and everybody's thinking about the people who have drug issues, and they're like, oh, because those I feel like have more tangible results in the sense of someone who's on drugs, just put them in a program. But someone who fell through the cracks might need a little bit of help. They might need help with a resume. I mean, the people who have issues with drugs will as well. But usually you wash your hands. I did the best I could. He went through the program. But like someone might need extra help with their resume. They might need extra help with like not knowing how to operate a bus system because they're new to a town. Like there's just so many other things, and I feel like that's a little bit harder to help or like to see tangible results. I'll say that it might feel a little bit harder to say like, yeah, I helped someone, as opposed to like, yeah, come here, stay in this room real quick. But like that's not, sometimes one night, one stay is not going to like, it'll be nice for that moment, but that's not like a real results helping type of situation. So that's my thoughts. Everyone, and Elise's thoughts as well. Everyone, let us know what you think. Oh, and I also want to say, to wrap up this segment, I also want to say, like, my heart really goes out to people who are experiencing this. A lot of times, some things have happened, like, that have, like, I personally don't think someone wakes up and goes, I'm going to get addicted to drugs. I do think it is other things that have issues that they have had. For the mentally ill, a lot of times it's a chemical thing that you can't even help. for people who are just down on their luck. Sometimes life just hits people and they don't know how to handle it. They don't have a support system. I mean, if you think about all those, for example, kids in foster care who age out of foster care, they don't have a support system. So then they become like, there's a lot of issues about how people have that. So I do think, like, as Christians specifically, we should offer everyone grace and compassion, but also stand firm on our truths. So, like the example that he gave, like, oh, let's give them needles. That's not, first of all, that's not grace or compassion. And that's not standing on the truth. The truth is they need to not be addicted to drugs, point blank, period. You should not be addicted to drugs. That is a standard. You should not be addicted to drugs. So the kind, compassionate thing would be to help them not be addicted to drugs. But I do think, like, also a practical standpoint, because you can say that's kind of compassionate, and then people beat them, and then it's like, I'm being kind of compassionate because you're not on drugs. And it's like, no, you can also treat people like humans, because we also have to remember everyone is an image bearer. Even our ex. Even our ex is an image bearer. And that's hard for me to believe sometimes. That's hard for me to put in my heart, but that's the truth. Okay. Did you want to add anything else, Elise?
I think what it really comes down to is like, I mean, a lot of times you have people that get into like social work or trying to help the situation because they see the need and they have that compassion, and then after a while it like wears off and you just get tired and you get, like you get beaten down.
Yeah.
And so like that's where you have to remind yourself about like your like the passion. You have to use the passion that God has put inside you in order to solve the problem. And like sometimes that means you need to take breaks. Sometimes that means you need to like step away, or you need to not be on the front lines, like going and, like putting yourself in kind of these dark situations because you think that's what it takes to help. Like sometimes there are ways that you can help that actually like are fueled by your passion, and then in turn will kind of refuel you. And so like I think that's what we ultimately need, is not people that are doing it because the government's paying them to do that, or like because
social media
they like had a right, exactly. You need people that are like, no, this is like, I have like a divine calling on my life to address this problem in this way, and I'm pursuing that because like he says in the post, like the only thing that's gonna make a difference is like being Christ-like, and like God using his people to intervene in these dark situations. It's not gonna be a government assistance program that's ultimately gonna solve homelessness. It's gonna be individual people deciding, I'm gonna make a difference, and here's how, like with God's help and with professional guidance, like, and walking that out. So
yeah, that's great. Well, let's transition to our last segment, or should we just end it on that? It's been an hour. I mean, the other ones are evergreen.
Up to you, boo.
The other ones are evergreen.
I'm down for whatever.
I also kind of don't, I feel this was like a sad note. I don't really want to end it on a sad note.
Is there something that is less sad that you feel like would be good to just talk about really quick?
What are your hopes and dreams? No, I'm just joking. Less sad. I'm just trying to think of anything really quick that has happened that's like kind of fun and exciting. Stranger Things. Well, that's sad again.
Maybe like what's something that like you're doing in your day-to-day life that is using your passion to like make an impact, or like address a problem, or like something that weighs heavy on you, like what's something that we're doing to like be like a little portion of the change, because there's what, like 8 billion people on the planet. Like you don't have to change all of the problems your one self, like, but you can change one of the billions of problems in the world.
Yeah, no, I love that. And to add to that, and I lost my train of thought, but no, I like that question. I think something that I am doing, I feel like, so for me, I think a huge problem, and abortion spuns out of it, I think, is the not caring about like specifically like innocent children's lives, and not just children, but like innocent people. Like I feel like a lot of people we're just caring about life in general. Let me say it like that. I try really hard to, in conversations, as well as how I am presenting myself and living my life, especially coming with my friends, making sure that I do acknowledge everyone's humanity. If we are talking about like, you know, someone who's mean or whatever, I do try to like try to acknowledge their humanity, even if they have hurt me. I really try to do that. I think that like that is a huge problem we have in society in general, is just not caring about each other. And I think that's how we get, I don't say like this is like an extreme, but like that's kind of how you get like people so easily taking another person's life, especially like the youths these days. Because if you don't think that life in general matters, like someone else's life even matters, then why would it matter that you have done something to them? So that's something that I try to do. What about you?
Yeah. I feel like you're really good at that, and I was even thinking
Thank
about like
you.
just the way that you're like intentionally building like community and like inviting other people into that, and like just, you know, like you love planning and hosting events and like creating these spaces for people to just come together and have a good time, and having the podcast where people can come on and discuss and think about things and just like be together and like work towards something better, and like fellowship and encouraging each other, I think is like, not forget the like specifically male loneliness epidemic, just like the people loneliness epidemic,
Yeah.
and like people searching for like love and acceptance in a boyfriend, or you know what I'm saying, like bad relationships or unhealthy circles. Like you don't need to look to or lean on those things if you have something better that's like full of life and giving joy and bringing you closer to God. And I feel like you're like a big mover and shaker in that like
Wow.
area.
That's so nice.
Um,
Wow. Thank you. I did not pay her to say that, everyone.
I do not receive a pension, just in case you were wondering. But no, but for me, like I'm starting a new like vet job, and so that's very like, it's very like medical, and it's very like healing and nurturing, and like seeking, you know, like seeing something that's like sick or not doing well, and like pouring into that and trying to like restore wholeness. And so I feel like my mentality for this year is a lot of like, if you like learn the skills that you need to go out and like address other people or other like living things like brokenness, that's going to like, that just pours out of you as you go through your
Oh,
day-to-day
I
life.
love
So
that.
like I'm learning, yeah, like so I'm learning how to nurture and how to heal, and I'm transferring that like out from my specific job into like my day-to-day interactions, and my like my background and previous jobs I've had pour into that a lot too. But like, just how can I like be with this person, like be the thing that they need, or like address their concerns, or listen to them, or you know, like in my writing I'm always trying to do that, and in my job I'm always trying to do that, you know, just like how can I apply a salve to this thing, you know, like introduce an environment that's like clean and healthy and good and promotes growth, you
Yeah.
know.
And I definitely
So
see that in you as well, like how you interact with people and how, you know, you go about it. And even in your writing for sure. Like you guys, like when this girl's book comes out, let me tell you, it's so good. But like, and this is just like a side note. There are moments in the book, so it's not like a straight up like Christian. Here is the Christian fiction book. But like there are just so she's so good at writing. There are moments in the book where you can just see like the humanity to people, and like you said, like the salt, like it's she does that. She embodies that really well. So that's a compliment for you too. So yeah, everybody,
thanks.
let us know too, like how are you doing it as well in the comments. And yeah, have a good new year. I'm excited for this year. Let us know any ins and outs you have. How can we solve this homeless issue? Rate, review, subscribe, all of that. And have a good day, night, evening, however, wherever you're listening. Bye.
Oodles.